वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात् कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी स्तोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी दैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नाख्यानककेसरम् हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः प्रीयमाणं मुदा भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः यादावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः।
अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः
तृतीयोऽध्यायः
भगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
धूमेणाव्रियते वह्निः
धूमेनाव्रियते
धूमेनाव्रियते
वह्निः
वह्निः
यथादर्शो मलेन च
यथा
यथादर्शो
दर्शो
मलेन च
मलेन च
यथोल्बेनावृतो गर्भः
यथोल्बेनावृतो
यतोऽल्पेनावृतो
गर्भः
गर्भः
तथा देनेदमावृतम्
तथा
तथा
तेनेदमावृतम्
तेनेदमावृतम्
आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन
आवृतं
आवृतं
ज्ञानमेतेन
ज्ञानमेतेन
ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा
ज्ञानिनो
ज्ञानिनो
नित्यवैरिणः
नित्यवैरिणा
कामरूपेण कौन्तेय
कामरूपेण
कामरूपेण
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
दुष्पूरेणानलेन च
दुष्पूरेणानलेन च
दुष्पूरेणानलेन च
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः
इन्द्रियाणि
इन्द्रियाणि
मनोबुद्धिः
मनोबुद्धिः
अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
अस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
यदुष्टानमुच्यते
एतैर्विमोहयत्येषः
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 ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनम्
ज्ञानमावृत्य
ज्ञानमावृत्य
देहिनम्
देहिनम्
केन इदम् आवृतम् केन कामेन इदं ज्ञानम् therefore आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन इति Jnanam avrutam. Kamena. Jnanam iti yukte viveka shaktihi. Vivek shaktihi is avrutam, is veiled, covered by kama. Kama hijacks the viveka shakti, the understanding. The understanding of the knowledge of what one has gained, dharma, adharma, viveka. Therefore, even though very well known it is not legitimate, it is adharmika, people go for the desires which are not only legitimate, finally it is leads to see dangerous consequences. Because Viveka Shakti is stultified because of the force of the desire. That is why later in the 5th chapter it is said, Shaknoti Haivaya Sodum Traksharira Vimokshana Kama Krodhodbhavam Vekam. You are seeing 5th chapter, Gita Mola, there. Sayuktaha Sasukhi Naraha iti. So therefore, very powerful force, Kama, drives a person into action, which leads to karma palam in the form of papa punya and perpetuates this janana marana samsara. Now, how to handle this? To know the karma is a problem. The adhisthana of karma, where it is located. So if the locus, if the adhikaranam, adhishtanam, asya adhishtanam, if it is known, then directly we can go to the root of it and exterminate karma. Iti in the last shloka we saw. So, Viveka Shakti being stultified karma, and the cause of problem being karma, therefore it has to be completely exterminated in order to not to make the person drift away from the path of moksha or moksharti. Even for karmarti as well as dharmarti, artharti also. As long as the karma is in keeping with dharma, it is not a problem. Otherwise, it is going to create problem both for vyavahara, of course for adhyatmika jivanam also. Therefore, adhishtanam is manaha. Manaha is the adhishtanam. Kama yesya hridishyataha, as it is said in Kathopanishad, the same thing. Asya adhishtanam uchyate buddhihi manaha indriyani. Indriyani, sense organs, manaha buddhihi. These are the adhishtanam. Ultimately, it is in antakarana. Once the kama is, in the beginning it was a sankalpa, once it becomes a kama, then the person succumbs to it through the indriya pravritti. Therefore, starting from the antakaranam, buddhihi, manaha, then indriyani, paranchikani vitarnat swayambhuhu, parang pashyati nantaratman. Paranchi, indriyani. Why indriyani are created extrovert? By creating extrovert, Bhagavan has to destroy the person. Indriyani as such is not a problem. It is the person, it is a person who is appropriate the given tools, the given means for gaining knowledge. Indriyanis are the means for knowledge. It is misappropriated. And Indriyanis doesn't think. They are just data collectors. It is being operated by the mind, Antakaranam. Antakaranam alone takes the form of Manaha Buddhihi. Therefore, that is Adhishthana. Antakaranam Manaha Adhishthana Uchyate. The Adhishtanam talked about in the previous shloka. So, therefore, since Kama is the one which deludes a Jiva, how does it delude with the Indriyani Manaha Buddhihi? Therefore, it has to be tackled, it has to be handled. It is easier said than done. But this is the biggest thing for all spiritual aspirants. Biggest obstacle is handling the desires. For a jnani, it's not a problem. For an ajnani, it's not a problem. Ajnani is in ignorance, so no problem. For a jnani, it's not a problem. For those who are struggling in this who are struggling with the intention to grow up spiritually, for them only it is a problem, it is struggle. But struggle is a sign of life. So therefore, the person may fail in the attempt, but it is not to give up the struggle or the attempt. It is possible to master it. While living itself, it is possible to master it, and the person can continue to live happily. And therefore, there are many examples for it. Many people, many jnanis, born as an ajnani and became a jnani, living examples, many are there. Therefore, it is possible. Karma can be dealt with. We are talking about the karma which are binding desires, not non-binding desires. Desires bind only when they are not proper, only when they are not legitimate. If it if it is legitimate, if it is legitimate desires, if it is legitimate desires, then Gita itself sanctions it. Desire as such is never condemned by Gita. Desire as such is never condemned by our Shastra. If it is condemned, then we don't recommend the varieties of karma, upasanas which are prescribed in the Veda Purva for different ends, different means for different ends. The desire as such is not condemned. It is the intention of the desirer, whether the desire is proper or improper. That alone is being talked about. Based on that only. If it is improper, then it is condemned. Therefore, once the adhisthana of the kama is known, the adhisthana being the antakarna, and it being there, it is nourished by indriyani, manaha, buddhi. Therefore, it has to be handled. It has to be mastered. Self mastery. Self mastery is nothing but mastery over kama, mastery over desire. Mastery over desire. Desires are achieved, or desires the accomplished. The desires are accomplished through the indriyani, through the manaha. So if the indriyas, if the desires are the propelling factors for indriyas to function as well as the mind, so at the desire level itself, if one can, the beginning itself, if one can handle the desire, then it's not a problem. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. In the beginning itself, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. In the beginning it was the vishaya dhyanam. Later leads to buddhi nashaha pranashyati. If it is handled in the beginning itself, then it is not a problem. But if it is by mistake or by negligence, if it has crept in, if it is allowed to stay in, then how to handle it? Then also it is possible to handle it. Even though kama is there, the force of kama can be reduced by shutting down the indriyas. By shutting down the indriyas, to start with, later by the mind. So iti, therefore only shama, dhamma, all these are important prerequisites for an adhikari. Adhikari into self-knowledge. So for an adhikari, this shama and dhamma, why it is emphasized is because it takes away an adhikari from what he really intends to gain. Having given up physically or mentally the material person, the person who has taken up the spiritual person, for that person, this shamadama or the real sampatti. That is why it is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. The more and more he has, the more at least even if moksha is not attained, at least he will not be troubled by the material desires, the desires for the material world. There will not be any trouble. Because he can live happily without being troubled while living in the world. So even if adhyatmika moksha is not attained because of other factors, but at least he could live happily in the world without being tormented by desires. So in both ways. Therefore, it is not only important for an moksharthi, it is important for all the people, even for artharthi as well as kamarthi. The same is to master one's indriyas, one's desires, and as well as the indriyas, the mind. Therefore, in the next shloka, the following shloka, 41st shloka, having talked about the adhishtanam, here, Bhagavan Krishna says, therefore, now the locus, adhishtanam is known, it is manaha, therefore, handle the indriyas, manaha, indriyani, manaha, buddhi, asya adhishtanam uchyate, therefore, one has to handle the mind, the indriyas, and the buddhi. Having known adhishtanam, therefore, one has to master it. That is said in the next shloka. These shlokas alone form the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Shama dhamma is talked about. This shloka and the following shloka also. Let's read. Yataha evam.
यतः एवम्
Yataha yasmat. Yasmat karanat. For that reason. For what reason? Asya adhishtanam is known. Therefore. Therefore, it is there in this shloka. The shloka begins with tasmat. Tasmat tavindriyan yadav.
तस्मात्
तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाणि
यादौ
यादौ
Yamya bharata rishabha.
नियम्य
नियम्य
भरतर्षभ
भरतर्षभ
Apmanam prajahikhenam.
पाप्मानं प्रजहिह्येनं
प्रजहिह्येनम्
Jnana-vijnana-našanam.
ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्
ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्
Tasmat. Yataha, tasmat, 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 therefore, yataha, since kama with the adhishtanam, manaha, buddhihi, indriyani, they are the adhishtanam, therefore, having known the adhishtanam of the kama, therefore, tasmat, niyamya, indriyani, ado niyamya, desires manifest to the indriyas. Desires which are in the mind, it manifests to the indriyas. So, outlet. So, therefore, shutting down the Indriyas. From Indriya, we go inside, introvert. First is Indriya. Why? Because it is a gate, or it is a point where the sensor, from where these desires operate through the sense organs by contacting the sense vishayas, sense objects. Therefore, Indriyani Adav, in the beginning, Niyamya, in the beginning, Adav, Niyamya, having mastered, that is self mastery, mastering the sense organ, self mastery. Then the mind, then the buddhi. So in that order, Indriyani, Manaha, Buddhi, mastering the sense organs to begin with. Why? Because enam papmanam. This papmanam, papman shabda. Papma, papmano, papmanaha. Papmanam, Vidya Vibhakti. Enam papmanam. This is the cause of papa. Cause of papam is called papman. Bhashyaka will say papacharaha. You see that papmanam. This is the cause of papam. It causes a person to do papam. Therefore, it's called papman. The cause of papa karma. The cause of karma, which leads to the karma pala, which is not conducive, which is not favorable for the person, that is called papam. So, that which is the cause of papam is called papman. Pap here, Dvitiya Vibhakti, enam, this papmanam, etat shabda. From the beginning onwards, yeshaha, kamaha, yeshaha, krodaha, iti, this kama is referred to by etat shabda. So therefore, enam, papmanam, tvam, rajahi. Here, something interesting is that rajahi, jagi. If you take the jagi, rajahi with pra upasarga, jagi. Jagi means rajahi, henam. Henam can be split into he and henam. Therefore, you have two he. Rajahihi. You have rajahihi. There it is, if you take the dhatu to be oha tyagi, tritiya gana, that is juhotyadi gana, then it is rajahihi, not lakara, rajahihi. May you give up. Oha tyagi, jagihi, jagahi, jagihi, jahitat, jahitat. 5 forms are there for lot lakara. Oha tyage, tyage means to give up, to renounce. That meaning that ha dhatu, adatu, jugotyadigan undergo its duplication. So lot lakara, we have 5 forms of Madhyama Purusha. One is with the tat. Tat 2 forms are there. Jahitat, jahitat. Then other 3 forms, jagihi, jagahi, jagihi. So with pra upasarga, praja, prajahihi. May you renounce, may you give up. That is one meaning. That is one form. Prajahi or prajahi if you take. He has emphasized. He as abhyaya, enam. Then if you take prajahi, then prajahi means this is handatu. It is to destroy. It is handatu, to destroy, to kill. Jagichatram Mahabhago, it's going to come later. There it is. The lot lakar is jagi. There it would be jahi. So, prajahi, pra upasarga jahi. Jagichatram Mahabhago, may you kill handatu. That form is prajahi. And then he enam, that is different. So both ways we can take. Either we can take Prajahihi or Prajahi. May you destroy. But here, it is better to take Ohag Tyage. May you give up. May you give up. Or may you can take Prajahi as well. No, it's not a problem. Destroy. Destroy this karma. Destruction of this karma. That also can be taken. It's not a dosha. So therefore, Prajahi. So small thing, but it's a significant thing. What dhatu you take? So Prajahi is Lot Lakara. Prajahihi is also Lot Lakara, another dhatu, Bhaktyat. Okay. So this is this is about this dhatu. Anyway. So Enam Papanam Prajahi. Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. That is Visheshanam to Kama. This Kama is Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Nashanam is destruction. Nashanam. Good pratyaya. Jnana Vijnana Nashanam Enam Papanam Prajagihi or Prajahi. Since Indriyani, mind and Buddhi are the adhishtanam of this Kama, therefore, from Indriyani Adau Niyamya, regulating the flow of data from the sense objects to the Indriyas, that is the first step, because that is the entry point, the gate. So therefore, Dhamma, mastery of senses. Then having done that, second check is mastery of mind. Mastery of mind, and finally, at Buddhi level, making the Buddhi very alert in taking the decision. So that is at the level of Buddhi. So Shama covers, Shama meaning mastery of mind. Mastery of mind means mind, Buddhi, all are same. But you can take here, since Manaha, Buddhi separately mentioned. So at the level of mind, Shama, then at the level of Viveka, at the level of Buddhi, that is Viveka. So making the Viveka Buddhi sharp, making the mind very alert, making the mind alive to the teaching, to Dharma, not forgetting the Dharma Shastra. So that is Viveka. So therefore, starting with Dhamma, and the next level is Shama, and the final level is Viveka. That Viveka is kept, the teaching is kept alive so that the desires are nullified. So therefore, to start with Indriya, because it is the entry point, therefore, to start with the Indriya. Tasmat tam Indriyani adu niyamya. E Bharata Rishabha. Bharatanam Rishabha. Iva Rishabha is like a bull. Bharatanam Rishabha. Rishabha is bull, also Rishabha referring to the person, like a bull. So Bharatanam Rishabha. Bharatanam is Bharata Kula Bharata Kula Udbhavaha. Bharata Vamshodbhavaha. So Rishabha is like a bull. So addressing Bharata Rishabha, when Krishna says that it's not that he can control or conquer the enemies, the physical enemies. He can even tackle the inner enemies. They are more dangerous than the outer enemies. Outer enemies can be tackled, but inner enemies are more difficult to be tackled. So you are expert in handling the external enemies. So saying Bharatarshapa, similarly, enemies are enemies. So similarly, you can handle the enemies who are residing in the Karanam. That is directly interpreted by the Sambodhana. Sambodhana also has some significance. It is not randomly placed Sambodhanas in the shloka. Yasacharya has used certain Sambodhana with the purpose. So Bharata Rishabha. Otherwise, here could be here Partha or some other Sambodhana, not just to fit for the meter. This Sambodhana also has got certain significance. Anyway, now let us read the Bhashya. Tasmaditi
तस्मादिति
Tasmat
तस्मात्
Tvam Indriyanyadho
त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ
Purvameva
पूर्वमेव
Niyamya Vashikritya
नियम्य वशीकृत्य
Pratarshapha
भरतर्षभ
Papmanam Papacharam Kamam
पाप्मानं पापाचारं कामं
Rajahihi.
प्रजहिः
Here Bhashyakara takes it as Tyaga. Oha Tyage. Tyadikana. How do you know Parityaja?
परित्यज
Tyaja is Lokakara. Therefore, Prajagihi is equal to Parityaja. So taking it as Tyaga, giving up. May you renounce. Yenam Prakritam Vairinam.
येनं प्रकृतं वैरिणं
Jnana Vijnanashanam.
ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्
Jnanam Shastratah Acharyatah Cha.
ज्ञानं शास्त्रतः आचार्यतः च
Atmadinam Avabodha.
आत्मादीनाम् अवबोधः
Vijnanam
विज्ञानं
Visheshatah Tadanubhavah.
विशेषतः तदनुभवः
Tasmat, therefore, having known the locus of the enemies, having known the source, that is the karma, the locus, the source, the place, residing there, the karma operates, covering the viveka shakti of the person, making drift away from the intended goal. Therefore, although in the beginning, niyamya, first, indriyani niyamya, having controlled the indriyas, prajagihi, may you give up, renounce. Yenam, this enemy, which is prakritam, which is discussed, which is his subject matter of discussion. Vairinam, enemy, Vairinam, and Papmanam. Papmanam, Papacharam, Kamam. Papmanam is equal to Kamam. Enam Kamam Prajahi Pratyaja. Papacharam. Papacharam is Papaha Acharaha Yasya Saha. Papaha Acharaha Yasya Saha. Papacharaha Tam Papacharam. So Papacharam Tam Kamam Prajagihi. Papachara Ugri Samasa. So Papam Papaha Acharaha Yasya Saha. That is, as though Kama is doing Papa. Not the person, Kama is doing Papa. In fact, that is what in the Upakarma, during Upakarma it is said, Kamo Akarshit Japam is the Kamaha Akarshit, Kamo Akarshit, Manvira Akarshit, Kamaha Akarshit, Kama did, Manihu anger did, not I did. So, Kamo Akarshit, Manvira Akarshit, Namo Namaha, Kamo Akarshit, Manvira Akarshit, Namo Namaha, iti, Japa, Kamo Akarshit, Japa is the inspired during Upakarma. Upakarma day. So it is as though Kama, the separate entity, it did So that kamaha, that papaha, acharaha, yasya saha. Kama is doing papa. Kama does papa. So referring to the kama which does papa. It means kama is the cause of papa. Propelled by kama, the person does papa. So here it is referring to kama. So therefore, prajaghi, parityaja, may you give up. May you give up. Not here with the discriminative understanding, but this is adav in the beginning. In the beginning, first thing to be done is shut down the indriyas, not allow the indriya to mix up with the indriya vishaya. That is to start with. But one cannot stop there. That is to start with. Then after, one has to slowly have shama, and then one has to make the viveka sharp, make the viveka alert. So dhamma, so dhamma and shama, followed by shama. So dhamma reduces 50% of the problem, and shama complete mastery over this dhamma. So when when dhamma is there, so the sense vishayas entering to the mind is reduced. Therefore, the mind will not have any thought, any vritti related to the vishayas. Therefore, the possibility of nourishing desires is reduced. So, the food which is given to the mind through the sense organs, it is reduced. So when it is reduced, then the kama cannot take form, cannot take place in the intensity of kama, which the intensity of the kama which occurs in the mind is reduced. The force with which the vishayas bombard the mind is reduced by shutting down the sensors. Allowing the vishayas to enter the mind, and because of the vishaya dhyanam, and also because of purva samskara, when no control is there, then it becomes desire, and desire will make the person act. Now, when the food itself is stopped, then the karma will lose its intensity. That's why the intensity of the karma, the force of the karma vega is kama vega as well as krodha vega subsequently is reduced. So that helps a person to start with. Then later, at the level of mind, and educating the mind further by making it alert, by making the viveka buddhi sharp. For that, the value of the values, following the values have to be taught. The value for dharma and the value of following the dharma has to be taught to the buddhi. It means the buddhi should be available to recall what it had studied, what it had gained in the Gurukula Vasa. So all that has been gained, all the knowledge which has been gained in the Gurukula Vasa, taught by the Vriddha, taught by the Vriddha Purusha, Shrestha Purusha, and seniors. Let all that be fresh in the mind, or that can be nourished, or that can be brought back by satsanga. That is the idea. That is how the Viveka Buddhi is kept intact. So to train the mind, first the indriyas have to be made submissive. So therefore, mastering the sense organs, that is called dhamma, then mastering the mind, shama. When you have shama dhamma, then there created a space between you and the desire. The space is created. When the space is widened more and more, then karma will not have any impact on you. The more the space, the more you are free. The lesser the space, the bombardment of the Kama, the bombardment of the Vishaya, entering through the Indriyas, and that takes in the form of a Kama, and disturbing the mind would be more. Therefore, creating more space between you and the Kama. That is by shedding the Indriyas to start with, and later by Shama. So that is the teaching. That is the idea. Creating more space. Either you create mental space or you have physical space. In fact, to start with physical space. If mental space is not, creating mental space is not possible, if it is found difficult, then physical space. That is why if it is not able to handle, then one has to leave the place. Leave the place leave the place where the staying there, the desires can be provoked. So therefore one has to leave the place. But leaving the place is not the solution. Wherever you go, you will carry the same. Therefore, to start with also, even before Indriyani Adav Niyamam, even before that, leaving the very place, leaving not having the physical contact at all, not allowing the physical contact at all. Physical contact means not allowing the objects to be in the vicinity of anywhere near the sense organs. But that cannot become the permanent solution. That is also to start with. So therefore, by Shama and Dhamma, Enam, Papanam, this Prakritam, that enemy which is Prakritam Vairinam, is an enemy. Why it is enemy? Because it makes a person engage in adharma. Therefore, Enam Prajahi, may you renounce or may you destroy. Parityaja, may you give up. Parityaja. And this enemy is the destroyer of Jnanam as well as Vijnanam. Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Jnanam means knowledge. Avabodhaha. Atmadinam. Avabodhaha. Atmadinam is, this is understanding of Atma, etc., which are taught by Shastrataha, which are received from the Shastram as well as from the teacher. As well as from the teacher means Shastra taught by the teacher. Shastrataha Acharyataha. Cha Atmadinam Avabodhaha. Understanding, receiving and understanding of the teaching from the Shastra and that of the teacher. Understanding is Jnanam. So both are mentioned, Shastram as well as the Acharya. Any one thing is not enough. Acharya alone is not enough. Shastra alone is not enough. So both are required. Shastrataha, Panchami, Panchamyarte Tasil Pratyaya. From the Shastra, the teaching received from the Shastram, the teaching received from the Acharya, they are not different, they are one and the same. So therefore, seeing the teaching from them, understanding them, that Atma is Sukha Swarupaha, that is Jnanam. Then what is Vijnanam? Vijnanam is Visheshataha Tadanubhavaha. Anubhavaha. Anubhavaha means experience. Here it is not experience in the ordinary sense. It is not Atmanubhava, the word we can use with understanding that Atma is not an object for Anubhava. It is myself. So it is so intimate, and it is not so intimate, it is myself. It is not an object for experience. Therefore, it is a subject matter for knowing, understanding. That in that sense, the word Anubhava is used. Aparokshanubhutihi, Anubhavaha. These words are used in the tradition, in the Sampradaya they use. But the understanding. Because this Anubhava, if you take it as experience, it also becomes one of the Vishaya Anubhava. Any other object, any other Vishaya which you experience through the Indriyas or any other Pramana available for your experience. So Atma also is one more thing available for your Anubhava. that understanding may creep in. That is why this anubhava we don't use, we try to avoid. But in the tradition, it is used, anubhava. But we have to understand. If it is used, then we have to understand anubhava is understanding. Even though the translation is experience, but here, with regard to Atma, it is anubhava is not experience. It is understanding. Understanding of the Atma. Already understanding of the Atma, Jnanam talked about avabodha. Then again, what is that? Visheshataha. Vijnanam. Visheshataha vijnanam. That is, Jnanam is knowledge. Jnanam is wisdom. Jnanam is knowledge. You know it. But the knowledge has become you. That is Vijnana. That is wisdom. There is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. The person who has knowledge need not have wisdom. The person who has wisdom implies he has knowledge. Or we can take Vijnanam to be the person who has got Nishtha in this Jnanam. He has assimilated the knowledge very well, for which this Jnanam is not just at the not at the level of just knowing, knowledge level. It has become himself. Or the Jnanam and Vijnanam, in another way also it can be interpreted traditionally. Brahma Asti. Brahma Asti. That is Jnanam. The Paroksha Jnanam. Brahma Asti. That Brahma Ahamasmi. That is Vijnanam. Brahma Asti is Jnanam. That Brahma Asmi is Vijnanam. So Asti, Asmi. That Asti is Asti Jnanam. Asti Jnanam is Jnanam. Asmi Jnanam Vijnanam. That is why wisdom. So therefore, Anubhava is not in the sense of any other special Anubhava. Anubhava means understanding. Here understanding is about myself, Atma. Therefore, Atma is Agam, Satyachit, Anandaha. Is it Anubhava or understanding? Therefore, here we need to note this. For other religions, for other darshanikas, God may be a matter of belief. For us, it is not about belief. God is not a subject matter of belief. It is a matter for knowing. It is a matter for knowledge. You operate your sense organ. Example, your eyes. You open your eyes, you see the object. Is it a belief or is it a knowledge? It's not a belief. I open my eyes, I see the object. It is knowledge. Similarly, when the Shastram is operated, you see the Lord. You see the Ishvara. Is it belief or knowledge? It's knowledge. It's not a belief. That is why we translate the word Shraddha also as pending understanding. The understanding which is pending. To start with, we need to have Shraddha, pending understanding. You have to believe that you have to give a provisional acceptance to the Pramana without operating the Pramana. You cannot say, I will not open my eyes. Without opening my eyes, I have to see the object. Not possible. Swamiji used to say, after the eye operation, when the bandage is removed, the patient is asked to open the eyes and see. Now, if the patient demands, only if you tell, my eyes will see, then only I will open. Doctor cannot say that. Only when the person opens the eyes, only when he opens his eyes and sees only, then only doctor himself can say whether the operation is successful or not. So that it lies entirely with the operator of the pramana, not with the doctor. Whether the eye functions or not, It is purely known only when the person opens the eye, when the person operates a pramana. Doctor cannot give assurance for the vision, even though he had done an operation, unless the person opens the eye. That is how the that's how the pramana is. Even with regard to the surgery, it is so that the operation that is pratyaksha pramanam, their eyes, and the same thing here also with regard to the shastra being a pramanam. It has to be operated. Without operating the shastra pramanam, when a person says God doesn't exist, the person is an atheist. To be an atheist only you need to have belief, not to be a theist. To be a nastika only you need to have a belief, not to be an astika. Astika, they rely on pramana. It's a the Bhagavan is a subject matter for knowledge, knowing. There is no belief in God. All nastikas are believers. All astikas are knowledgeable because they know for sure when the pramanam is operated, God is seen as we see any object when in the Indriyas are operated. That is the Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to say. God is crystal clear. It is like the gooseberry on your palm. So clear. How is that you miss it? That is operation of the pramana. So therefore it is a matter for knowing. That is why Shastram, that is why teaching. Not a matter for belief. Unfortunately, it is for many people it's a matter of belief. Therefore, only people go to various temples and going to the temples and all it's not a problem. Offering prayers and all is not a problem. But not knowing the Shastram, completely Shastram is forgotten. And having some belief, some like the atheist, they also believe God doesn't exist. Similarly, these people also believe in God. If you believe in God is a wrong thing. Knowledge is knowledge of the God. So therefore, two different things. To be a non-believer only you need to believe. To be a believer, there is no belief, there is only knowledge. Therefore, Vijnanam is the knowledge is now the knowledge is yours. It has become you. That is Vijnanam. We translate in English wisdom and Sanskritam it is Anubhavaha. Visheshataha Anubhava. Visheshataha Anubhava means not it is special experience. This is another problem. If you translate it as special experience, some mystical experience, some experience which you gain while doing meditation, if people have some experience, that is also an experience. Any experience is subject to limitations. It arises and goes away. So experience cannot confirm the existence of God. The existence of the God exists, therefore experience is. It is not because experience is, therefore God is. God is, Ishvara is, therefore the experience is. Why is Ishvara? How can that be experience? That's what wisdom is all about. With this understanding, we can use the word Anubhava, no problem. Anubhava, Anubhuti. And even if you translate as experience, but we know what it is. Here, experience is not in the normal sense, experience in the sense of understanding. Therefore, Vijnanam Visheshataha Tadanubhavaha. The last line, we will read and then complete. Tayoho.
Tayoho.
Om
Jnana Vijnanayoho.
Jnana Vijnanayoho.
Shreya Prapti Hetvoho.
Shreya
Prapti
Prapti
Heto
Heto.
Nashanam.
Nashanam.
Nashakaram.
Nashakaram.
Jahihi.
Prajahihi.
Atmanah Parityajet Ityartaha.
Atmanah
Parityajet
Parityajet
Ityartaha.
ityartaha.
Tayoho. Kayoho Jnana Vijnana Yoho. Jnanam and Vijnanam. Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Enam Kamam Papmanam Prajahi. So Shreya Prapti Hetuho. For Shreya, that which is a Hetu for Shreya Prapti. Shreyasaha Praptihi, Shreya Praptihi. Shreya Praptehe Etuhu, Shreya Prapti Etuhu. Etvoho for the Shreya Prapti Etu. That which is the Hetu, the means for Prapti, for gaining of Shreyas, that is Moksha. What? Jnana Vijnanam. The Jnana Vijnanam, Jnana Vijnana Yoho, Shreya Prapti Hetuho, Nashanam, the destroyer. Who is that? This Kama, the Nashakaram. Nasham Karoti. Iti Nashakara. Nashakaram Prajahi. Destroy or give up. Nashakaram. Prajahi. May you destroy or may you give up. This Jnana Vijnana Nashanam Kamam. Atmanaha Parityaje. Give up from Atmanaha is here, it is Panchali. Adhikarana. Give up. Give up from oneself. From oneself means you discard from yourself. You discard this karma from yourself. You dismantle this karma and throw it away. Karma is not yours. Karma is something which has come and cling to you. So remove that, discard it, throw it away. Atmanaha, from Atma, Parityaji. Give up this karma from the Atma. This karma is something external which has come and stuck onto you. Therefore, Parityaji. Give up. Prajagihi. Ityartaha. Stop here. We'll see Gita Priya Bodhri in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद।